For years, the world has listened to thousands of podcasts. But if you dare to immerse yourself into a new experience, new ideas, viewpoints, award-worthy commentary, and a way of looking at things you didn't think were possible, strap in, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Gaming, current events, local and global, finance, sports, religion, health, and everything else. It's all here. It's all here in the Data Podcast.
All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so we're back at it again with the podcast, Data Podcast. Today we have a special guest, Joan. We work with him at pharmacy. That's where we met him. Originally, we met him there when he was doing his clinical hours or doing his rotations. Joan, anything you wanna tell the folks?
Hello. Thank you guys for having me. It's going to be a huge honor for you guys bringing me, and hopefully we can provide some good content with you guys.
All right. Awesome. So we've been away, and a bunch of stuff has happened. We missed the Astros' failure in the World Series.
Oh man.
We've missed a couple of games, and I haven't really seen anything NFL because I started watching Game of Thrones again, and so that's what I've been doing. Actually, before you all got here today, I was watching Game of Thrones. But we're going to try to get caught up with the stuff that has happened and what's going on today. So today is November 17, 2021. And we'll try to go through several topics we have here. So right now in the news, what's going on is today is this Kyle Rittenhouse boy, right? So if you guys don't know, he was a 17-year-old. Went out. My understanding is he went out to Kenosha, and my understanding is that Kenosha is in Wisconsin. He's not from that state, but it's like you could consider us like here we're in Rio Grande, and you just cross the border
to Mexico,
right? That would be like another state, right? So it's like state lines is like right there, like they're right on the border. So his dad works in the other state, right? So he works in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. He's originally from I don't know where he's from. It's got to be somewhere there.
I think they said Illinois, right?
Illinois,
Chicago,
somewhere around that state. And so during what was his name? George Floyd. During the George Floyd riots, right? A lot of the cities they gave up. They gave up on police. Right, so then the citizens took it upon themselves to protect their businesses and to protect their homes. And so this little boy, right, a 17-year-old, went out there to protect his dad's business. I think his dad works in a car dealership, or if he's the owner or something like that. So he was there, right, because we were seeing the news, and they were lighting in California. They were lighting the police cars on fire. And they were burning buildings and looting Target and all kinds of Walmarts, right? Going in there, stealing all kinds of stuff. So, pues, if you burn an entire car lot, pues, it's going to be a massive financial loss.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know if y'all remember seeing in the news while all of this was going on. It was like, they had like, what is it? Like plank boards they were putting on the windows to protect the windows. Yeah. And like they would put like, children live here and stuff like that. Like trying to protect the houses, the people inside, the businesses. So this kid was there, and you can say, pues, unfortunately, what happens with this stuff and Antifa and these fanatics of this kind of garbage, right? He was there at the wrong time, right? So originally, what was being said, right? I've been watching like almost some of this, what's going on in the courts, And I try to listen as much as I can because I also have I'm a teacher and it's kind of hard to listen. Like it depends. Like I do have my phone and I'm listening to it on very low volume, but one of the things that they said was that this kid was also providing like EMS services.
Okay.
Like when people who were attacked, he was helping them, like bandaging them up, giving CPR and stuff. So he's like certified in these kind of things. But he was also carrying a rifle. So and then an incident happened where things got out of hand. He got, I guess, he got confronted. He had no choice but to put 2 people down, and he injured some other people. And so then one of these other guys was there as a witness for the prosecuting attorneys. And the prosecuting attorneys tells the guy, like, he's asking him, like, were you just there? Like, were you committing any violence? And the guy's like, no, I was just standing there and he shot me. And then the defense, right, they came on and they said, like, well, we have a video here and here we can see you clearly. You're pointing a gun at Kyle, right? So he pointed the gun at him. Kyle was going to defend himself. So he shot him. And so this guy, he didn't die, right? But he shot him. And so they're painting a picture in this court stuff, right? The lawyers are really good. You could have, like, the toughest guy, but they'll put glasses on him, and they'll clean him up, and they'll cut his beard and make him look nice and presentable, schoolboy, right? That's what they do. And so then the media, right? Because you see CNN and MSNBC and all these guys, they're like, but we have like an innocent person, right? Like there was no need to shoot him. And then I see Fox News, and then Fox News is like, that guy that got shot and wounded has a history. He has a history of raping kids. And he has a history of doing stuff before in his past, and it's just like here it is, like you're trying to paint this guy as an innocent, but he's not. And so now, right, they're trying to get Kyle on mistrial because it's too many people. Biden has put his 2 cents in there. A bunch of politicians have, and actually, what I heard was that his parents and pues Kyle también, they're going for Biden for slander and what is it?
Defamation?
Defamation. And for defamation.
Oh, really?
So that's going to be in the civil courts, right? That'll go to the civil courts. But here I'm going to ask you guys, like, what do you all think about this situation? Like, what they're trying to get him now is on lesser charges. Now they saw that pues, it was clearly defense. But now what they're arguing is pues, underage possession of a firearm. That's what they're claiming now. So what do you all think about that?
I think it's a very tough situation right there. Once because he is 17 and, you know, possession of firearms underage and stuff like that. On the other hand, you know, if the video does show him, you know, trying to defend himself and the other one was the aggressor, you know, I don't know. Overall, I believe it's a very tough situation. But I do believe, you know, if his father's business was in the other city, how far away is the city? Like,
apparently it's just like a couple of miles away.
Couple of miles.
Yeah. It's like I would say like what it is like Roma and Rio Grande, like that's like the state line is there.
I don't really know why he was there. Like what was his like? I get he was EMS certified and everything like that.
Yeah.
But like you know, he should have known that like, the situation was bad because of the police defunding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just don't know why he chose to put himself in that position.
Yeah.
You know, because now he's all up in this mess. And
yeah.
It's gonna get ugly.
Oh yeah.
And before it gets good.
Okay.
Well, the thing is that the reason he was there, right? A lot of people are viewing him as a hero.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, there's not enough police. I didn't know that his dad had a business there. So the question was, what was this guy doing there?
Yeah.
You know, was he looking for trouble? What was he doing if he knows what's going down? But this changes things if he has a business or his dad or whatever. And looking at it really deeper, even if you don't have any business there, or maybe a family member or friend has something there, and the police aren't doing anything about it, then I believe, you know, you do have the right to go and, you know, these people are just gonna trash your place. It's gonna cost you money, right? So you're gonna do whatever to protect it. That's what we pay the police for. That's what they're for, and they're not doing their job. So it's troubling to see that someone had to step out of their way, them not being the actual police, and then go in and have to do the job for them. Yeah. Because you're paying them. I mean, they're getting paid and everything, but they're just not because they were under tremendous scrutiny or whatever, because of what just happened. That doesn't matter. You need to continue doing your job. So that changes things, you know. And a lot of people are saying, no, we can't view him as a hero because, you know, he wasn't the police and wasn't supposed to be there. He had no place there.
Yeah.
I think he did have place there, and it's brave of someone to go and protect, even if it's just possession or land or whatever, to go and defend it and protect it. I think that is brave. So that's what changes things. Like, I used to think also, what was he doing there? What was he looking for trouble, whatever? But now this changes things. And now the fact that he shot these people because his life was in danger. And these guys were dangerous too. I mean, you can't say this guy was dangerous and these guys were peacefully protesting. No, they were dangerous.
It was a mess.
Yeah. So it wasn't his fault. He had to shoot.
Yeah.
And I think, though, that the judge dismissed the whole count on him having a gun, even if he was underage, because it was a misdemeanor. It had nothing to do with the case, supposedly. So I don't think they're going to do anything to him on that. But what was weird, I read that for the jurors, I don't know if you ever seen this done. I had never seen it. Him, the guy that's being prosecuted, they brought him like a basket or something with numbers inside.
Jurors.
The jurors' numbers were in there, yeah.
Okay.
So he had to select them randomly. Who was going to...
Kyle.
Yeah, he selected the numbers randomly, right? He doesn't know what the numbers are in there, but he put his hand in there and shows the numbers of the jurors that are going to be the ones making the decision for him. So that was kind of weird. But they asked the judge, and he said, "I've always done it in all my cases like this. This is how I do it. No one's ever complained. No one's complaining now. So this is how we're going to go forward." But it was weird to a lot of people that they did it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that you're saying, like, what was that kid doing there? Like, and what they were trying to do is protect, like, or try to prevent vigilantism, right? Because pues then that would be a problem. Like, people are not gonna be like, no, pues now that the police are a failure, now we have to take it upon ourselves to defend our own streets and stuff. Yeah, I didn't know either, man. I didn't know that that his dad had a business in Wisconsin, and it wasn't until I found out, and I was just like, well, this makes sense. And even if it didn't make sense, right? It's only up to good people that would see, like, when you see something wrong and you try to fix it now. Those of us that have jobs, we're not gonna get involved, right? And that's what I say. Like, the people that are in this, right? The Antifa people, the Black Lives Matter people, lo que le falta es trabajo. If they had, and that's what I believe, man. If they had an 8 to 5, they wouldn't be caught up in this stuff.
They don't have time.
They don't have time. It's 8 to 5. You gotta get your rest, get ready for the next day, and that's it. Let
the world go round, and you go about your way.
Yeah, so, you know. So it was also interesting because the judge has been scolding, like, the prosecutor, like, just scolding them. Like, and so there was this thing, right? You normally, when you get arrested, well, you know, they tell you your rights, and you have the right to remain silent. So anything you can't say, but you know the words.
Yeah.
Now, when he got arrested, he decided to remain silent, to assert his Fifth Amendment right. What does the prosecuting attorney do? I.e. in court, he's like, well, why all of a sudden, like, when you were first arrested, you didn't say anything, and all of a sudden you want to say something, and the judge gone on him for that, man. He's like, you know that's a constitutional privilege. Like, what are you doing? Like, and I was just like, damn.
I was reading about that. He said that by him he was admitting to guilt by not talking to the police. Yeah. And I don't know how it works. I know that it's a right for you to remain silent, you know. But the way that I read it is that was a law that changed barely like 40 or 50 years ago there.
Yeah.
Maybe back then it was that if you didn't talk to the police, you were admitting guilt. But it hasn't been for 50 years. That's why the judge got very upset at the guy.
And it's true, man. Anything you say is used against you, like, even if it's sarcasm, man. Like, I've been arrested. And what did I do, right? I started throwing sarcasm at these guys, and they use it against me. I was like, Simbe, I was like, that was just my attitude. I was like, Simbe, ponle ay que I did cocaine y que hice todo esto. What did they do? When I was there, they're just like, oh, Machado says it here that you do drugs and stuff. And I was just like, it was sarcasm. I was like, it was sarcasm. Pero that's why. You know, like, a ti se te hace fácil because you're upset in the moment. And you're just like, bueno, pues ya quedamos pa' acá. And that's what I said. I was like, I'm the cause of the problems in all the world. And it was like, everything that's gone wrong in the world, ponle que I'm the cause of it y todo. And so that's why, you know, me being sarcastic. So
yeah.
Now what the defense is trying to do is, suppose they're trying to go for a mistrial. And so you can see this with the debates about gun laws and should we take the guns away from people and should people have them. And so Tano and I have discussed this before. And so he says that he believes that nobody should have him, just him, right? because well, he doesn't trust anybody else, right? Just him. Pero this is one of those weird ones, man. And I was looking at a map yesterday because I was watching the Tim Pool podcast with yesterday. He had Alex Jones and Joe Rogan on, and they pulled out this GIF, right? And it was like a map. And they're showing like Texas, Louisiana, all the states.
Mm-hmm.
So before in Texas, like to have concealed carry or to be able to carry, you had to go take a class, and then you would get a license.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like as the GIF is going, right, it's like time is going like 2010, and these were the laws. And now to we are now you can just open carry, and you don't need a license anymore in Texas, and in other states también, So it's like a freedom. Like they were saying, like more freedom is contagious.
Mm-hmm.
Like so that's what like other states are doing that too. And so we had another trial, right? I wasn't following this one, but Tano, you were telling me about it, the Elizabeth trial, and you were telling me something about how she did like a fraud or something. What
she
was
defrauded investors and her patients. I haven't been following it that much, also, but I heard about it a long time ago, and then recently it popped up. Elizabeth Holmes, I think is her name. So. She's being charged for defrauding investors and the patients. So investors, in the way that she lied to them about the numbers and saying like, "Pues if you invest, this is the percentage of return that is the potential for the next year or whatever." So I was reading the name of the investors, and pretty sophisticated investors were involved in this, which is why I think she's going through what she's going through. Because if it wasn't like no name guys, then they wouldn't have done anything to her. So it turned out that she has a business she started a business of testing like blood tests to determine like different kind of diseases, I guess, in your body, and like test for different kind of diseases. And it's supposed to be like easier and cheaper than the normal.
All right.
So, but they found that her machines or her technology was faulty. It wasn't as good as she said it was. Like it wasn't as accurate as she would say it was.
Like as far as advertising. And stuff.
Yeah. So the patients were being defrauded that way, and then the investors were being defrauded. So she's being charged for that, and she's going through her trial. And but I don't know. I think that she's not, at the end of the day, not going to be found guilty, just like this guy, because I mean, maybe they have something on her, but at the end of the day, it's a business just that went wrong, and she did lie. If she lied about it, then they she's guilty. Yeah. But if she finds enough. I guess ways to get out of it, at the end of the day, she's just gonna say like, "This is just my business just failed, and I failed everybody."
And it was like a startup business, or
it was a startup. I mean, it was a startup in a sense that it was still not profitable or anything, but it was ongoing for years. This is like a lot of years.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Isn't there like insurance that would cover stuff like this?
But for failure, yes, but they're accusing her of like lying and manipulating numbers, so that's illegal.
So insurance doesn't.
Not that. No.
Oh, okay.
And then the reason I wanted to bring it up was like, because we just talked about Rittenhouse, and what drove him wasn't the racial discrimination, but what led to all this was discrimination, right, about race. The police shooting all these African Americans, and then the protesting, the Black Lives Matter and all that. Okay. So racism, discrimination led to this guy, right? So what led her, in my point of view, right, to do this is, I guess in a sense, I don't know what you guys would think. I wanted to see what you guys would think, is discrimination based on socioeconomic class. I guess is that how you say it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Because there comes a point when people are just being, or we notice that we're being not treated equally or the same, or we see other people being treated with favoritism because of their class or whatever. Yeah. So it drives people to do crazy things for money, bro, like breaking the law and stuff like this, right? Yeah. So discrimination here, the word again, right? And we've talked about discrimination on the show, about race. Discrimination based on gender, but we never talked about discrimination based on this, and it's interesting. I don't know what you guys think about that. I mean, have you ever experienced anything like that, or what do you guys think?
I guess like for us, I could say like for me, usually the higher ups are always more in any job. The higher ups always like have that discrimination, like managers, CEOs, CFOs, anybody on top in the boards and stuff, like people that come to power, people that you elect, right? You could say that that's like also like it has like a socioeconomic class, right? So like como bankers and all these guys at Wall Street and everybody. Like if I was in those positions, pues yo también I look down on the regular poor folk, and I'm just like, you're there porque you want to be there. Like I had to work to where I'm at, so you are like como peasant type, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like a peasant type. Like I'm way better than you. Obviously I am, because I worked hard to not to be proud or arrogant, but it comes with that. It's like the reward is that you worked your ass off for something, and so you get to not brag, not become one of those persons, but if it ever came to that, where like you had to defend yourself or whatever, but history and nature always favors the strong.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to this socioeconomic class, the strong happen to be the rich. And so like even in science, it always favors the strong, so pues only they would survive. Only they survive. So that's how it is, man.
Yeah.
It's not discrimination. This is just the way of the world, and it goes into these other hierarchies. That's what happens.
But
like como this leaks into other hierarchies, where like whatever it is that is strong is gonna be the.
But have you ever noticed, like, let's say you, even at restaurants, you walk into a place,
Okay.
and then they treat you just like normal, right? But then someone that has money, right,
Yeah.
walks in, and they'll be like, "Oh, where can I see you? Where can I see you? What can I bring you? What can I this and that?"
Yeah.
It's not like even the guy's not gonna even pay him more money or whatever, but just
Yeah.
because he's like that,
Yeah.
he'll get that special treatment. I see it all the time. That's why
Yeah.
I mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
So is that kind of
I actually did something like this, man. I didn't even mention it, and I did on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm not one for like fancy clothes or looking presentable, right? I don't care, right? I don't care what people think. So what did I do? I went on purpose. I was looking for furniture, and I was looking for a mattress. This was maybe 6 years ago, and I was like shopping at Lax, LFD, in those areas. Y so yo fui, todo tirado, right? Like I didn't care, man. Fui todo tirado. And usually, right, it's like when you go into like to go buy a car, viene, they come y luego, right? Pues nobody came to me, man. Nobody was coming to me, right? And so then I look at like the next person that enters, and pues he like looks more presentable than me. And so they go and
Right
help
away.
him, right? But on me, like nobody's like, anything I
down,
can help
yo.
you with, sir? Like anything
You're
I
a
can help you
ghost.
with. Nobody was helping me. And so right, pues during that time I was like a big gambler, and I had a bunch of cash. So I had hit a jackpot aquí in Falcón. And so I had pues just a bunch of hundreds in my wallet. It was pretty fat. So I like on purpose, I'm just like, and I said it pretty loud. I was like, pues quería comprar un colchón. I wanted to buy a mattress, pero nadie me atendió, right? Nobody attended me. And I was just like, I guess I'll go. My money's no good here. And I pulled my wallet out, and I make sure that they heard me. And I was just like, yeah, pa que miren, like, yeah, man, they do.
It happens. Based on the way that you look, there's been studies that say that they can tell right away what class the person is based on their accent or how they speak.
Yeah.
Within the first 7 words that the person speaks, they'll judge them like, oh, this guy is from guy comes from this background. And you notice, bro, have you ever been to McAllen or somewhere in the valley, and they'll call you out. They're like, "You're from Rio."
Oh yeah.
Have you ever had that?
Nah,
I've had
not just
that,
me
bro.
personally. See,
I've had that, bro.
MEC and STC, right? Me and Joan went through the same program at STC with the pharmacy tech program. There was a day, it was me and another guy. Okay, we were from Aquistar County, and we were talking together. So just like como the weekend, like almost like anda, así, right? And so then there's like some girls I sitting down, nurses, right? And they're pretty cute, and so we're like trying to be loud to like try to get their attention. And then one of them says like, ellos, they're probably from over there, from like Rio. And I was just like, whoa, man. I was just like, whoa, like they hit it in the nail, man. Like,
Yeah.
like, they don't speak Spanish, man, and they're just right here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you try to speak Spanish to like one of these girls, or no.
Yeah.
You have to go to like El Barrio.
Anyway, it's real, bro. That's why I just wanted to bring it up. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal, but I think a lot more people would identify with this rather than other kind of
you're
discrimination.
saying, like, the reason why you're saying this is because she's really rich, or what? Like,
No,
she has
because
more money than the investor.
the
I
investors.
don't know about that, right? But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what drives you to do this? I mean, other than making more money, right?
Okay.
The thing is, the reason also I pay attention to this is because of something in the Bible, and I'll mention that in a minute. But here, we see a lot of people turn to like drug dealing and stuff to make money, to make power, because they see that, they view as, and they're gonna finally start treating me better. I'm gonna be this or I'm gonna be that, because it's that view of where you think that it's gonna make a difference, right? And then they're willing to do things that are gonna put you. She's facing like 20 years of prison if she's found guilty, and if you do something like drug dealing or whatever, you're gonna go to prison. And I'm talking about people in our city, people that are working like for the city and stuff that that been
like an extra gig or something, like a side thing.
So and this is real even in the church, bro. So the Bible, what I remembered is in the Bible, there's, I think it's in the book of James, he says, if there's someone in your meetings or in your church that comes in because he's dressed well and don't treat him any differently than anyone else, and then someone comes in with dirty clothes and stuff, and you just let him sit in the back, and this guy, you have him sit in the front. This isn't the Bible, but I've noticed this even in churches that I've gone to, because at the end of the day, even if the church is not like Christ-centered, it'll eventually lead to this, to being straight away because of money, because of what we're talking about. So in the church, I've seen many times like where they're asking for a donation or whatever, and then they make it public. So someone of money will be like, oh, I'll donate $1,000, because he has a lot of money. So $1,000 is nothing. And then all the other guys that are like, I wish I could give that much, but I'll give $1 or whatever. So these churches have these guys, they'll have them like sitting in the front. And I'm talking about now, not talking about Bible times. I'm talking about, I've seen this. So these guys, they'll be sitting on the front. They'll have special treatment. These guys will be probably contacted more often by the pastor.
Yeah, they go and eat with them in their own houses.
Exactly.
And have barbecues y todo. Yeah, me, when it comes to this stuff about giving money to church, I think that's that's why I hate going, man. I don't know why there's a need to collect money from people.
Let me just say my view on that really quick. I do believe in giving money to the church, and the reason is because if there's someone that's going to be doing the work for God, you know what, you have ever heard that, right? The work of God is... There needs to be, if we're going to spread the word of God, if you receive the word of God, right, and you want to spread it to other people, to save other people, that's what Jesus eventually called us, because you love him, you want them to know what you know. So if people are doing that work, they must spend time studying, praying, going out to these people. And so sometimes they don't have time for a real job, so these people need to eat, right? The Bible, the way that I see it is, we pay our portion, a very small portion, so that those people could have a living, so that they could do the work of God. So this is the only reason I believe that, yes, there is a need, but you can take it to an extreme where it's no longer about church or God or whatever, it's about making money. So it's easy to, the line is very thin. That's what the problem is.
Me looking at and I'm sorry here, but I'm gonna be the Catholics again. I'm coming after the Catholics, right? There was a day that I wanted to go. I wanted to go to that church, but this was some 7 years ago or something. The doors were locked, man. It's like, does the house of the Lord not open 24/7, or is there a schedule that I have to follow? Is God only here like from 3 to 5 or something, And so me, without being an a-hole, right? I'm just like, this church is like, this was even before I started reading the Bible, right? But I get what you're saying. Like, go out and, I guess because I'm not involved in any church particularly, but I do watch Joel Osteen and his Lakewood Church. And every Sunday they have a section where, thanks to the proceeds, right, that we were able to do this week, and they show us like we're here, right, and in South America, we're here in Mexico, we're partnering with this church in Mexico, Juarez, whatever it is, and we donated this many food to these many people, and so I like that, right, because they tell you where the money is going. Here, because I would go to Catholic, I would go to Catholic as a kid. Well, where did the money go? It's like, where's the money going? I never put money myself. Like, I would go to my grandma and she would give us like money. She's like, here's $1, right? Cuando pasa el señor, right, with the baskets, like,
put it in the basket.
And I was like, I want to keep it, right? Because they never told us.
Since you were little.
They never told us what they were doing with it. So that was always my question. I was like, why do they need money, man?
They're gonna go buy candy with it. I'd rather go buy candy with it.
See, that's what I would think. Like, it's like, why do they need money for it? But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And in the case of como Lakewood Church and Joel Osteen, right, that they tell you what it is that they're doing with the money, right?
Let me just mention one more thing, and to make a point about what I was just saying. Have you heard the radio station, the Christian radio station?
Sí. Yeah.
96.9. So they're supposed to be no ads in the radio station because they mentioned like what is it that they say? I don't remember, but they just kind of mentioned like there's no ads in our radio station or whatever.
Ad free something, yeah.
But they have like a special month, I think, where they're just doing like a marathon, like collecting donations or whatever. But then they do throughout the year as well. And there's not supposed to be any advertisement. So if I call, right, and I just donate $5, nobody's going to find out about that. And no one should. The Bible says that when you do something like a donation like that, don't tell anyone because you're going to receive your reward right then and there. But let not anyone see you so that your reward comes from God. Okay. So that's the way it's supposed to be. But why is it that when this car dealership all of a sudden gives like thousands of dollars, that the radio station will be like, oh, and we just want to shout out to whatever blah blah blah's name of the dealership is for always being a supporter of this and this and this. Well, what are you doing there? You know, it's not supposed to be any ads, but they're making an ad because you want to keep these people happy. You know, you want to acknowledge them that they're giving you a lot of money. They're the most important people that support you. Okay, but that in itself is proving a point to what I'm saying. You know, that it's wrong.
The good thing is, or the good news here is that God sees through everybody's hearts and stuff. And so, like, if your reasons are anything other than being generous, right? That car dealership in maybe 5 years will go broke and bankrupt and fail, right? If
their intentions are good, pues they'll be prosperous.
If they are. If not, pues then the radio station will fail también and everybody will fail, because everybody falls.
The thing, bro, is that it's good to think that way, but that's not the way that it works.
Yeah. Well, because actually, I'll tell you this.
Sometimes.
In my experience, anyone who's ever crossed me, and I mean everyone who's ever crossed me, has paid dearly in one way or another. Like somehow I found out, and things that I didn't even want to know, and I'm just like, I didn't want to hear about this, right? And I don't say like, okay, it's a payback in some kind of sense or some karmic thing, but I do the tie-in because I'm just like, okay, this person was like this to me or did this to me. And so I'm not saying that it's in any way correlated, but I do believe, okay, look, what you do here, look, whatever you do wrong here, you're going to pay for it here. Okay. Like you don't. There is no taking it to hell or anything. No, you pay for it here.
Well, in a way, I do believe what you're saying because, as the children of God, the Bible also tells us that He is the one that takes revenge on. Like He'll show you, don't take it upon yourself to take revenge or whatever. Yeah. He's the one doing it. So for He's doing it, it's even worse. You know. Yeah. So, I believe that. And I've seen that also in my life and just in general. Yeah. But I also believe when it says God makes it rain over good and evil. Rain means like blessings. Yeah. He blesses the good and evil the same. And then it says another part like the rich and the poor, the good and the bad will die the same way. So, a lot of times, evil, they'll get away with it in this life. Not in the next. But sometimes. But in other times, what you were saying... that's true.
There was a guy who would like bully me in high school, like for 4 years, man, that I was there. And then he went and got married and find out that he got married. Good for him, whatever. But then he couldn't have any kids. Like his wife, he was the issue. And so then I started reading the Bible, and it's like any fruit that does not bear, one tree that does not bear good fruit will be cut down and thrown into the lake of fire to not infect like the rest of us, right? Es castigo de Dios, este pobre, right? So then, get this, then like some 2 years later, she ends up getting pregnant, and I was like, it's not his. I was like, I know it's not. I'm not going to say who it is, right? But I'm just like, I bet like they were to do like a DNA sample or whatever. Yeah, it's not his. I know it's not. And that's not me being an a-hole or trying to say like, that's what you get, haha, or trying to laugh at that situation, but it's like, yes, se paga, esas cosas se pagan aquí. Like, even if you don't see it, like, you see like evil people going about the world, but maybe they have high blood pressure, diabetes, or something is going on, right? Yeah. And they're paying for it in some fashion, right? That's what I believe, man.
Yeah, if you do something,
that's what I believe, man. That's what I believe. They're paying for it in some fashion. Especially like vision. Vision is one where like you have no vision, vision is taken away. Diabetes is one that comes with vision. It starts fading out. Hearing también, the listening comes with age and stuff. And it's just like, you didn't get the message. It's like, quítale. Take his vision away and take his ears away. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like a castigo. It's something else, man. It's something else. So we've been talking about court stuff, and so there was during this absent period that we've been in, Attorney General Garland, aka Idiot, right? I'm sorry, right? He was being scolded, man, by the Republican Senate and Judiciary Committee, particularly by Ted Cruz, man. So this was awesome. So what happened was, if you didn't follow this one, I think it was in California, and so there's a school out there somewhere, and a little girl got raped in the restroom, and the school knew about it. The board of the school knew. The whole district knew about it, but the school decided to keep this down. They decided to hide it, to keep it under the rug. They said, let's not let's not get into the news with this stuff. So they kept it under the rugs. The parents were furious, and they made a big show about it. And so it was around this time with the CRT stuff, the critical race theory stuff, General Garland, Attorney General Garland here, said that any parents who were going to the district board meetings and talking about critical race theory, that he was labeling them domestic terrorists. So arrest them on the spot, get them out of there, right? So then, these parents, they go to a board meeting, and unfortunately, they get kicked out, right? Mm-hmm. And so he got this poor guy. I feel bad for him, man. I honestly did, because it was just about 2 hours of just even berating. They're just like, hopefully you never hopefully you never get elected into the Supreme Court, like, hasta ese punto llegó. And I was just like, damn. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine if that happened here? Mm-hmm. Like, if this happened here, wait, what is that? Everybody should be fired, man. Everybody in the school, the principals, everybody. But no, this Attorney General Garland, he's just like, no, anybody that talks bad to the district boards, they're just label them as a domestic terrorist. What do y'all think about this?
No.
How old was the girl?
I want to say she was
middle school.
I think so, man.
Middle school.
I think so, and so she wasn't just. It wasn't like a boy went in there. Mm-hmm. It's not a boy didn't go in there. No, a transgender boy. You see, okay. So they have like the labeling in the restrooms. So if like I don't know the lingo. I don't know the lingo about this, but like a boy becomes a girl. I don't know what it's called, right? I don't know what it's called, but the boy is a transgender girl, and so he or she, right, goes into the girl where that girl is there. And he rapes her in there. You see that?
Oh, yeah, I get it now. So it's a boy that went in there, but he just said, I identify myself as transgender, so I'm gonna come into this restroom. That's what happened. Yes, but it's just to go in there with the girl.
Well, he's transgender.
He actually is. I thought that he actually just said that so that he could go in there.
There's no photos because they're minors, so they don't release names. Okay. They don't release photos, right? I'm assuming
that he went through the procedure.
That he actually is?
Well, he didn't go not through the procedure, but maybe he just put a wig on, or maybe he's a cross. These people are just because they paint their nails, man, they'll consider themselves the opposite sex. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the lines are here, so it was kind of hard to follow. I'm assuming that he just had a dress on, man. I don't know. So that's what sucks about this one. I can't say it's just like a boy or a man like us just walking into the women's restroom. I don't think that's the case here.
Well, at the end of the day, he was just faking to be a transgender.
To do this.
Because he wanted to get into it with the girl.
Yeah. So this is, I keep saying slippery slope when we talk about these topics, and so they are sensitive y todo, but...
But you think they kept it quiet because of
the discrimination,
the agenda that these guys have to in the future have these different kinds of restrooms and stuff. You know what?
These transgender people have too much power. They have too much power right now.
I think that ties into there's still no specific, I guess, sections or guidelines on, the lines between transgender and this and that. We still don't have, since it's very, it's not new, but like, it's been coming to light.
Yeah, and being accepted more.
Yeah, and we still don't know the specific, circumstances that these transgender people should fall into.
Yeah.
And that makes it hard in this case because, if it's still transgender, the guy who I guess now identifies as a girl goes into a restroom, well, what do we do now? Because, we can't, take away their right.
Yeah.
Because, if they identify as that way, we should, it's freedom, right?
Yeah. And that's a good point. Okay. That's good because we argue with that we have our views on this and we say like it's wrong and this and that and we throw the Bible verses and all and that's great, right? We are on the right there. But at the same time, since we believe in rights and freedoms, supposed to have a freedom to, right?
Yeah.
You have a freedom to paint your nails, man, and to dress queer and to be out there and be creeped. Yes, you have that freedom, but look at what happens when freedoms infringe on somebody else's rights. Now we have a problem. Now, why does the school decide? Why does the school decide to keep this hush, man? Why? I don't get it. Because I can only assume that the amount of backfire that would happen aquí with people who are for this and against it, it's like, what do you do? And so this kind of ties in with the vaccines right now. You're either for it or you're against it. And so this is where I'll disagree with like Republican people. What do they say? A Democrat, right? The woman, my body, my choice. Okay, so if that's true, and you're saying acá, my arm, my choice, pues which is it, man? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, why for some things yes, so you're either all in or you're not. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. So yo también, to Joan's point, the freedoms are the most important things. If we live in a free country, you can do whatever you want, yes. But it comes to the point where your freedoms start infringing on somebody else's rights, that we have a problem.
Yeah.
And so I hope we never get caught in this situation. Anybody I know of ends up happening like this. But at the same time, it is kind of scary because imagine your girlfriend or your daughter or your wife or your mom or grandma or whatever, they go to the restroom right at Academy or Olive Garden or and some creep man is just there, right? And he's just like, you know what, today I'm going to rape someone and I'm going to walk into the girls' restroom, and if I get in trouble, I'll just say I'm transgender. Everybody's going to keep it hush. Yeah. This is a slippery slope, man.
Yeah.
This is a slippery slope. So what do you do? What do you do to combat this? What do you do here? They should have their own restroom, man. That's what I say. They should have their own restroom. They shouldn't be able to go. That's what I say. A boy becomes a girl. I don't know if it's transgender man or transgender. I don't know what the lingo is, right? They'll have a section A, transgender man, transgender woman, give them their own bathrooms, right?
Kind of like those. Kind of like those family bathrooms where, like, you know, the men, women, babies, whatever.
Oh, just make restrooms just single stall, all of them everywhere. Don't have multiple stalls everywhere. Just keep one, so one person gets locked in there, and that's it.
We would need a total of 8 bathrooms in every facility, every store, one for every letter.
But hey, make it happen. Make it happen so this doesn't happen, right? Who is at fault here? The Democrats. I'm going to just flat out say that. The Democrats are at fault here, man. Porque this, me growing up, this wasn't a thing until just now. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy that this is, we've heard about these people, yes, but never to this degree.
Yeah.
Never to this degree that they have, and they protect them. That's what's even great. And you yes, protect them, pero it's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. And it's like I say, si se ve mal like a woman and a man kissing in public, like, ahora imagínate 2 men. What do you, it's awkward, sir. It's awkward.
It's awkward, sir.
So what do you say? What do you say? What are the kids confused? I'm so proud, man, of the kids that I have, because I told them about this. I had played a movie, and and I couldn't stop laughing because there's a scene in the movie where a girl kisses another girl, and I had a little girl sitting in the front, and she sees that, and she just runs to the back of the class.
Scared.
She just ran. She was like, "Como?" She didn't want to see that scene. I was just like, even they know, and even they tell me, they're just like, "Sure, pero it's just supposed to be a man and a woman," and I'm just like, "Yes." I tell them like, "Yes, you are correct." And then they're like, and I get in so much trouble, sir, for saying the opposite. I'm just like, "Well, you shouldn't." I was like, "I tell you that you are in the right. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. There's nothing wrong here. You're saying the right things." So, we were talking about the riots and the stuff, and we had thoughts on police and police reform. So, a couple of years ago, that's when they started coming up with the body cams, and so give them body cams. But then there was cases where black people were getting beaten or Latinos were getting beaten, and it's like, where's the camera? Pues it was off. And it's just like, pues que coincidencia, right? It's like, you pay so much for this. What do we do here, man? Well, how do you begin to address an issue of, because pues there are good cops, right? There's people that are legit, right? They're there to serve and protect and do their job, and they swear oaths and all. But there's also bad cops, man. And so, for me, in my experience, it's like, don't talk to the police ever. If you don't have to say more than needed, don't open your mouth, number one. And don't leave them alone with your property, okay? And so there was a day in school that they brought canines, right, in my class, and they made all the students get out. So I'm assuming that there was a word out there because somebody was carrying something, and they made me leave the room también, and I was angry, man. Because how do I know that the cop isn't gonna just put it in that backpack or put it in the teacher's stuff? Okay. You know what I mean? There's no cameras in there. So I was furious. I was like, next time that this happens, I need to be here also. I'm not gonna take your word for it, right? How do I know you didn't put this in there? And that's what I was telling the kids. I mean, don't leave them alone. They pull you out of your car. No, you need to make sure you see what's going on, porque you're gonna be at a loss if you don't. And once they say like, mira, aquí está, what are you doing with this gram or these 10 grams of whatever, or pounds or whatever, right? I don't know what it is. And they're just like, what are you doing with this? Well, it's not mine. Yeah, we've heard that before. And so then you go to court and you end up losing. Yeah. Right? So in my experience, it's like, I want to say the cops are good, but no, don't.
That was a really good case for the O.J. Simpson case a long time ago. Because I told you that.
Oh yeah, you were watching the series.
Watching the series earlier, and that's what got him. That's one of the reasons that got him out of it, because the police, not only at that time, but they found some videos or some recordings of them actually admitting of
implanting or planting evidence.
What is that called? Like tainting evidence?
Yeah, like it's what is it? Tampering with evidence.
Yeah, like they themselves, even if they knew that they did it or not, they would like add more evidence just to make it. Yeah. To make it more obvious.
I like Dave Chappelle when he's like in his comedy. He's like, there's like a routine that he does, and he's like, 2 cops enter a house, right? Because there's a burglary. He's black, and he calls the cops because something was stolen in his house, and so the cops go inside, and he's like speaking for the cops, and he's like, Tucker, this house is too fancy for a Negro, and that's what he says, right? The comedian, and he's just like, there he is, a criminal right there, and they're gonna like knock him out. And so he was the owner. He's like, I've seen this before, Clark. I've seen this before in this kind of case. This Negro came in here and hung pictures of himself with his family and pretended that this was his house. Quickly sprinkle some crack. He's like,
sprinkle some crack
on him. So yeah, man, that's unfortunately, but me and you can't trust anybody. You can't trust your own family, man. Come on, you're gonna trust. And my kids were like, sure, but aren't the police good? I'm just like, no, they're not. Don't trust anybody. What do your parents tell you, man? Don't trust strangers, right? Don't trust anybody, man. Yeah. You can get in trouble for this, man. Even at work, they'll do it to you. If you're somebody that they want to take out, if it's not a girl who has malintent, who will say like, oh, my boss touched me or did this to me, just to get them fired, right? It'll be some kind of planting of drugs or some kind of just to get you out of there. They do this stuff, man.
But they're supposed to be the good guys, the guys that are trusted, and for the most part they are. But there's every once in a while
bad seeds
and
in there.
I don't know what should be done about this. What do you think, Joan?
Maybe there should be like a system where the body cam's like hardwired so they can't be turned off. Yeah. Unless like by the tech at the department or police department, whatever. And maybe my other idea was like, when they clock in, the camera automatically starts up.
Yeah, that's a good idea, yeah.
Like automatically starts up, and they can't be shut off physically. Someone from the department, like the tech guy or whatever, has you send in the code when you clock out.
And then it just shuts it off on its own.
And then the recording gets sent to like the tech to file, whatever. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's all things that can be done. Hopefully, but they start looking at it. But me, because if I was a police officer, the cameras are a good idea. Are good for me too. Yeah. Because like I'm saying to you, that cops can plant evidence, but the perpetrator can say, "Oh, he raped me in the back of the car," right? They can say the cop, right? He arrested me. I didn't do anything wrong, and he took me behind and raped me, right? And it's just like, if the camera's off, what are you gonna do, right? So it also protects the police officers in a sense, también, right?
Yep. I just remembered. Do you know the cameras on the cars on the front? Do they have audio or no?
I don't think so.
Because I think I told you the story when I got pulled over because I was going really fast. The guy that was really tall, and I started going off on him. And then I think he realized that he shouldn't have, because he kind of called me like dumb. Kind of told me like that I was stupid. So that's why I got upset and I started going off on him and like, it's not your job to tell me whether I'm smart or stupid. You're gonna give me a ticket. Give me a ticket. So the guy got caught off guard and he was like, "Pues, you know, if I take you to the court or whatever," and I showed them this recording, he mentioned that the recording is like they're gonna side me because I'm doing my job. I'm protecting you and all this and all that. I'm like, no, I understand. Protect me all you want, but just don't call me. Don't insult me. You know.
Yeah.
But I remember the guy did mention that the video was being.
I think the dash cam itself might not have like audio, but I think they get the audio from like their walkie-talkie, stuff like that.
It's funny. Have you ever seen the quality, those body cams that these guys have?
It's they're
very crappy, man.
Yeah.
Compared to GoPros, why don't they use GoPros, man?
Oh yes,
right?
The funding. The funding.
The funding. Well, see what I do with the tax dollars, right? They should give them GoPros. GoPros have pretty good quality, right?
And they're waterproof and stuff like that.
Videos that uno que otros they look good quality, but for the majority, it's like I'm looking at a YouTube video from 2008, man, like 240p or something.
Like some 4-year-old in the back of in the backyard.
I'm just like trying to tell like, is that a woman or a man? No. And I'm just like, what is that, right? Because the quality isn't that good. So GoPros, they gotta get GoPros. So next on the thing that we want to talk about is I'm going to skip through that. Biden's approval ratings. So they're at an all-time low, 38%, and Kamala 28%. And they came out on the other day in The View, right? That's where Joey comes out and what is it, the Sunny and some girls, old ladies, right? Hags. And they're like well left-leaning, right? And so they say, well, Kamala's numbers can only be low because sexist, right? They don't want a woman in power, okay? And so then this is the thing. Wouldn't you be sexist if you're just voting for a woman just because she's a woman, right? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It's like, come on, you use their own words against them, and it's just you can't win with these people, man. You can't win with these people. So what do y'all think about Biden's and Kamala's? I was actually hearing like 2024 comes around, Biden's gonna be out, and it's not gonna be Kamala who's gonna.
Go run.
No.
I think
they're looking at Pete Buttigieg. That's who they're looking at.
I think. Oh, where's he?
Who? Pete
Buttigieg, the gay guy.
From where? From which?
One who was on maternity leave. You heard about that?
He was on maternity leave.
Pete Buttigieg, yeah, man, was on maternity leave. Yes, sir. That's crazy, no? He can't even have kids, man. He was on maternity leave for like 6 months or something.
They adopted or?
They adopted, yeah.
And he was on maternity leave. Yeah, was it like a 6-year-old or?
He was
like
on maternity leave. And let me see if I can find
How old was the?
I thought that guy was like religious or something.
Pete Buttigieg, maternity leave.
But was like the kid like a newborn or like?
Oh, I'm sorry, paternity leave. I'm sorry, it was paternity leave. There he is. You see that?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, they're newborns.
Yeah, but they obviously can't have kids, right?
I know, but like, did they have like a surrogate?
Let me see. I don't think so, man. I think this was adoption. Buttigieg. I'm not sure.
Paternity leave, they call it trying to figure out how to breastfeed.
Well, anyway, there they are.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're considering this is him. They're considering this guy as the next runner-up. And it's funny that you say that about breastfeeding. There was a video about transgender. Okay, so this is the lingo. A man and a woman, right? So a woman becomes a man.
Okay.
And the man became a woman, right? And these two people married each other.
Oh, and then they conceived the child.
They conceived the child, right? So now the woman who was a man, right,
is breastfeeding.
Is pregnant, right? But the man who became a woman is like, well, I'm the woman now, so I should be able to breastfeed, bro. The video was so disgusting, man. He actually has the baby on his, and he's crying like, why can't I produce milk? It's just like, sir, biology, sir. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
I had to shut it off, man. I couldn't. I couldn't watch that. But this is the
this situation, bro. The only thing I'm gonna say about the leave for so long, I mean, someone has to do it, right?
Yeah.
So like, if there's not a woman to take the leave to be with the child, this one, either or the two guys that were there had to have been there for the kids, or both of them.
This needs to be considered a psychological trauma. Somebody needs to be held accountable here, man. Porque these kids are gonna grow up and their norms are going to be this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be their views of what society is this.
Pues, I mean, their kids...
This is their norm, man.
If it's their kids, it's fine. I don't care, right?
Pero it's torture, no? It's like
For the
me.
kids?
It's like me. When I found out that the Catholic was a lie, right? That religion, I was angry. Now, imagine growing up like this, and all the way up to you're 18, you're like, you're the thought about being with a woman, that thought never crossed your mind because this is what you saw. This was what you saw for 18 years, and this is what you were taught.
Well, I
So
mean,
you
you
go
can see it
with
the
that.
other way around, too. Like, if you're born... Well,
That's
And
what it's
to-
supposed to be,
Now,
though.
if you're born, the most how can I call it, like the most common way, and then you grow up and you're
The
like,
right way.
why?
It's not the right way.
and then you're asking yourself and be like, pues why wasn't I shown that this was possible? You know?
No, sir. No.
No, sir.
No.
No, I'm just saying, bro.
Me, I didn't find out about these types of people. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't find out about these types of people till I was 13. Me personally, I didn't know this was
Okay.
possible. When I found out, I was like, what?
Confused.
I was like, how? I was like, how? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, right? It was two guys when I found out. Now, not personal experience, but it was in some scene in a movie where I had seen, right? A guy kiss another guy. And then I find out that women can do this too. And that wasn't until 2015.
Oh, you didn't get that right away.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that right away. I was just like, two guys was just like, well, this was something new, right? I was like, for me, it was new, right? Because you're barely coming about the world and how it works. So for me, it was like all the way till about the age of 12, it was always a man and a woman, right? A boy and a girl. And so you would look for your novia, right, in the playground and try to hold hands with someone, right? But then I'm 12 years old and I see this and I'm just like, this is
odd.
weird. I was like, this is odd, right? And then I turn 14 and I see two women and I'm just like, what? And then not only that, I find out
How's this possible?
that they're family members, right? And they would say like, oh, that's her friend. Like, esa es la friend de tu tía, right?
Oh,
That's what they were saying, just like, friend. And then I come up to 14, I'm just like, friend. I was like, yeah, right. I was like, shit, I know what it is. I was just like, you're trying to trick me, right? And so it sucked, man. Like I'm saying, like, this should be considered psychological trauma, man. It should be.
for the kids.
It should be, yes. Because the way you think is like, well, let's imagine, let's pretend the kids are taught that the earth is flat. All the way until they're about 18, right? And that's all they know, right? The earth is flat. And then you find out that it ain't, right? But this is a hoax, no? This is a great lie that was told, right? Wouldn't you be angry?
Well, I imagine the children are gonna be taught that they can do,
I wouldn't.
Traditional-
If I
traditional.
had kids, I wouldn't teach them this, bro.
No,
No,
I'm not. I don't.
No.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Hell no. Hell no. If I even get a whiff of that, I'm by boot camp. I'm not. A simple whiff of that, I'm just gonna be like, no, senor. No son of mine. No, sir. Or no daughter of mine either, right? A mí no me vengas con ese murero, right? I don't know how I would handle it though. I can't say que I wouldn't love the child the same, right? I honestly don't know. Diosito no lo mande, that's all I can say. Diosito no lo mande, right? So, we're talking about weird stuff here. We're talking about a bunch of stuff. And so then the last thing we have is a view on psychedelics. So the reason why I wanted to bring this up was because there was a study that said that people who do psychedelic drugs or DMT or ayahuasca or anything like this, they say that it's a great ego destroyer, that it's a great ego killer, right? And you can think of like the ego, like the person that talks to you or your own mind, right? Like that little voice
Conscious.
Like
behind your head.
like it's subconscious.
Yeah, like that subconscious guy, right? When you hear yourself like, you should do this or you should do that, right? Do this or that. That guy goes away.
Oh.
So what is that? What must that be like, man? Like, doesn't that pique interest? Like, isn't that voice the one that tells you like, I should go brush my teeth?
I think you
I
become
should
that
go-
guy, bro. You become that guy
Really? You think so?
whenever you're high. Yeah, bro. Because I.
No, not when you're high. When
Like,
you come
when,
off.
when
of it.
I come off of it.
Yeah, because while you're there, what happens is you think that you died.
Mm-hmm.
So then your ego gets killed because by that time you're so high that that voice, it's gone. You come out of that high and it's not there anymore, right? I don't know for how long if it ever gets revived, right? But people say that they're, like people who do DMT, they say like afterwards, it's like a 7-minute trip. But they say like afterwards they're more in tune with the universe. Like they become like a spiritual, man. Like it's like more spiritual than anything. It's like, what must that be? Have you ever experienced anything like that? Let me see if I can find out.
I experienced it, no, but I was watching a documentary or a series the other day about this is when they are high,
Okay.
what they experience. And it's called, I think the show is called Bad Trip or something. And because they're on a really bad trip with the drugs, and some of them were saying some really crazy things, like the kind of drugs that make you have hallucinations and all that. And some of them will say like, oh, the tree started talking to me, the grass started talking to me.
Yeah.
And one guy said that he was working like in a barn or a farm or in a barn. And then his boss, I don't know if it was like his uncle or someone, called him and told him, come and help me, because there was, I think it was what do you call it? A lamb having what do you call the
baby lamb?
Yeah.
Okay. All
So
right,
they was having trouble giving birth.
All right.
So they had to go in there and help. And he was saying that when it was born, he saw the heaven open up and started seeing, I don't know, like different kind of colors. And for him, like that experience it blew him away. It was like the biggest miracle of life that he could have. But he was high when that was happening. And he was like experiencing it at another level of consciousness. So, but that was when he was high still. I don't know, like after when they come down.
Yeah.
You're saying that whenever that goes
It's
away.
like, they say like when you come out of it, that voice is gone, and that what happens to people is they become more one with the universe. Like they're more spiritual. They're more, like everything has meaning. Like a lamb. Or like the grass or the trees, everything is life.
Yeah.
Everything is wonderful, and it goes away. Like the other dumb thoughts that you used to have or that you would oversee, you know. I would like to try this drug. I just want.
I knew that's why you were asking it, bro.
I want to put that out there because there's this guy. I don't know if you've shown you the tool. There's this artist who draws what he sees in his DMT trips, and so he sees stuff like this.
I think I've seen this, bro. Have you shown me this before?
I might have. He sees stuff like this in his trips, and so I don't know what the artist is called, but he draws stuff that he sees, and usually what they see is like it's like a portal to another dimension. Like it's like the brain is accessing something that you couldn't see, and so you go off into this other dimension. Where now there's like more space creatures and
like
beings and like this thing.
Like this one right here is like a face.
Yeah,
and there's like a mirror in another mirror where the face just keeps going.
Yeah, and like so you see like it's like looking this direction.
Yeah, it's looking in all directions at the same time.
Yeah, keep to the front, and it's like a weird. Even this one, like this is you see the eye there. Oh, and that was the other thing that they said like DMT, like the reason why you dream is because we all have DMT inside us, like the pineal gland. It's like the pineal gland is the one that releases DMT, which is what lets you have dreams.
Okay.
So your dreams become vivid. So like it's like you wouldn't be able to access this or that kind of dimension in daytime. You can't access that unless you're asleep and DMT is released. So they were saying the Eye of Horus, right? The Egyptians knew. Let me see if I can find it. The Eye of Horus. They were saying the Eye of Horus looks like the pineal gland, and so that's the pineal gland like in the brain. You see it, and so then the Eye of Horus is kind of like the pineal gland. So the Egyptians knew that this thing in the brain was something of importance. Cause they made it like into the eye. So that's why like that artist, he's drawing like the eyes, and the eyes is another symbol for the Illuminati también. So it's like this DMT thing. The way I see it is like, cause you like talk about like deja vu stuff, and you're like, how is it possible that I've seen this before play out? They say like this is a simulation, like this is a simulated reality, and so then you're actually like kind of like in the Matrix kind of, right? Like when you're actually sitting somewhere in some kind of pod, where this isn't real. It isn't until you die here that you wake up where it is that you're actually supposed to be like this is like a dream within the dream, right? Okay. So that's the reason why you can access things in the future because they've already happened, and so you're just in a pod asleep, and it's like kind
of like a video playing back or
something like that, like a playback of a video. So wouldn't it be cool if these DMT trips, because they say like it's like bridges or portals to like this other dimension, and usually come across other beings there, and it's like they're trying to tell you something, or they're trying to warn you of something. It all depends on the person. Like there's a guy who did it, and he's like bien negative, bien pessimistic. He's like, that's his attitude towards life. He did this DMT thing, and what he saw when he went to the other side, okay, he just heard like a demon just talking over him, like just trying to taunt him and being mean with him, like okay, he like was in hell, and that's what he thought. And he was like, I'm never gonna do this drug again. That's what he said. That's what he said. I'm never gonna do this drug again. And so he like got scared out of that trip, like because he's like, hey, when we die, like this is possible. Like, hey, Joe Rogan is one who talks about this DMT stuff a lot, and so he has one where he says like in one of the trips he has, okay, he just saw like jokers all around him just laughing, and they're like throwing the bad finger at him, and he says like what it is, this DMT stuff is like. It's teaching you to let go. Like, the more control that you want to have, like, the more you're fighting it, okay? You don't want to go through the trip, and that's the lesson of life. Like, you want to be in the driver's seat. Like, you know, like, it says, like, let God take the wheel, right? The more you want to be on the driver's seat and the more you want to take control, because there's things you can't control. And so this is the reality check, is this drug. Once you come out of it and you go through that trip, it's like you just got to let go. And once you let go, then Joe Rogan said that, and that guy that was pessimistic, that means that once I let go of trying to fight it, everything became wonderful. And he's like, I started seeing beautiful colors and beautiful patterns, and I started seeing like those beings that artist drew at, and they were beautiful colors and all. But when you were trying to fight it and being in control, all you were seeing was just a bunch of bad stuff. So they were saying like, we are what it is that we can, what is it? Like, not transcend, pero what it is that we say, we're like putting that energy out here. And so though you can't see it, when you take this DMT stuff, it becomes reality. So like if you're negative and like you're talking bad about someone, it gets manifested. That's what they call it. You're manifesting this negative energy.
Yeah.
Because your biggest fears come true is like in the dream.
Yeah.
You dream about dogs chasing you and lions chasing you. Ever had dreams like that?
Yeah, and sometimes I usually like jot up awake and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a pretty interesting like so the reason why I brought this up, this DMT stuff, was because maybe what everybody needs to do is just chill out, man. Well, not get hyped, but they need to chill out.
Chill out?
They need to let go. They need to not be in control anymore. Just let go.
Let life
be more
flow
chill
and process.
Yeah, just there's more important things than abortion and gun rights and this and that. Just let go. Everybody has the right to do whatever they want.
So like don't take life too serious.
Yeah, like just
live in the moment.
Just stop. Yes, live in the moment, and that's what this drug teaches people. At the end of the trip, is just let go. That's where they become more spiritual with the universe.
That's
so
interesting, man.
So ahí, right, we talked about quite a bunch of topics right there. So I think that it's fair to say that we can end on that note. And so just be in tune. Watch a podcast for the next one. We'll be out there. Hopefully we can do this again. Because we can't see each other anymore Saturdays for the most part. Yeah. And hopefully we have a more regular schedule. So just be on the lookout and subscribe. Anybody interested in merch, we have a couple of ideas there. Just let us know, and so we'll see you in the next one. All right.
All right.
Alrighty.